Hi, I'm Mishti Max and I'm here to share my Eye of the Serpent Lip Art. The inspiration for this lip started at one place and then went in a totally different direction by the time I was finished. I started with a base of this metallic gradient lip with the OCC lip tars, which would be cool for a fun night out. Then for the artistic part, where I was originally going for a snakeskin look with the fishnet stencil and a reverse gradient with the Sugarpill pigments. But then I decided to go 3D on your ass and stick some gold Born Pretty spikes and some square rhinestones to accent random sections, and the look reminded me of an ancient civilization's jewel or some beautiful Indian sari design. And I finally decided to give it the title of the giant jewel from Conan the Barbarian that they steal at the Tower of Serpents, and that felt like a fitting name. First I prepared my lips with bepanthen ointment to moisturize, and then I removed the excess with a cotton bud, exfoliating a little. I primed my lips with MAC Prep and Prime Lip Base. Then I lined my lips with MAC Lip Pencil in Night Moth, shaping my lips in my usual pointed cupid's bow shape, overlining just a touch to give myself a bigger canvas to work on. I then went in and colored the perimeter of my lips with the pencil, but left the center bare. Next I went in with the Urban Decay 24/7 eye pencil in El Dorado and filled in the center of my lips, layering the metallic gold shade until I have a good enough payoff, all the while jamming to the Street Sweeper Social Club's awesome EP, The Ghetto Blaster. I highly recommend. Then I went back between the Night Moth pencil and the El Dorado one to buff the edges in a little between the two colors. This will help the gradient at the end result. I also finalized the edge of my lips, increasing the size so I can fit more stuff on my lips. And I cleaned the center with the cotton bud. For the lipstick layer, I grabbed the OCC lip tar in Black Metal Dahlia and squeezed out some onto the back of my hand, picked it up with the Sedona Lace LB25 lip brush, and then applied it around the edge of my lips, trying to keep a sharp line, coating the corners, and pulling it in to cover the Night Moth pencil. After the metallic burgundy lip tar has been placed, I pulled out the gold one called Triptych and used the Sugarpill lip brush to coat the center of my lips, taking it up to the Black Metal Dahlia shade, pressing my lips together and buffing the brush around the edge of the separation line between the colors to get the blend going, adding a touch of the gold product to facilitate the gradient, then going back to the lip brush with the Black Metal Dahlia on it and overlapping the edge until I got an interesting and dramatic gradient lip. This is a fine place to stop, and you could wear this strong metallic lip design for a night out. However, for the sake of this lip art, I had to continue because I wanted to keep playing. I kept the lipstick with a cream finish so the upcoming pigments would stick to it better, but you could amp up the color by adding a corresponding eyeshadow over the top, and that would make the lip last longer too. Anyway, I wanted to try my hand at a fishnet design, so I got out a set of these fishnet tights and cut a section big enough to stretch over my mouth. I suggest using new tights, or at least clean ones, since putting your foot in your mouth is not really a good idea. Then instead of holding the material against my face, I tried an experiment with sticky tape and ended up, after a little bit of difficulty, taping the piece of fishnet to my face. I think using a fishnet size that was a little bigger would have been better because the end result is a little bit more of a dot shape, and the new tights were hard to stretch and keep in place, but I used what I had and looked damn freaky doing it. Then I started with the Urban Decay Electric palette and grabbed the eyeshadow Jilted, and with the brush that came with this palette, I pressed the pigment onto the very center of my top and bottom lips, but not covering the entire gold area. I picked out the Sugarpill pigment in Countess and used the end of the same brush to dab this shimmery maroon color over the rest of the gold section, beginning the reverse gradient effect. Next is Sugarpill Goldilux, and I used the Sigma E46 Shader Inner Corner brush to press the metallic gold over the perimeter, and I crammed it into the corners too. I had a bit of a problem keeping the tape stuck to the material, so I had to readjust it, and I felt like a bit of a gimp trussed up like this, but it was for a cool effect, so whatever. Then I left with one funky looking goatee type thing, and this method was a little messy, as you can see when I took off the fishnet, because the material moved around and I couldn't keep it fixed in place, so I had to clean up the mess with some MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in NC15 to get rid of all that smeared lipstick. And I actually ran some product around my lips, which I never do, but I made sure I blended it out really well, and after I powdered around my mouth, I cleaned up the edges of my lips by adding extra OCC Black Metal Dahlia lip tar, extending my lip line to even it out, and even added a few dots of Goldilux pigment around the edge with a pointed cotton bud so the design looked cohesive. And then you have a cool dotted snakeskin gradient across the lips, which is one place to leave this lip art. But I still wasn't done playing around, so the saga continues. Now the 3D part of the tutorial is here, and I took these 3mm gold spikes from the Born Pretty store and originally I was going to use Duo Lash Glue, but mine is really old and grody, so I went with Prosade as an adhesive. So I used a pointed cotton bud to apply the glue and then dabbed a little bit on the base of the spike. Then I let it sit for a little while. I then applied the spikes in various locations around my lips with tweezers. I started with just a few on the bottom lip in the center, but then I kept adding more because I was having fun and it kind of looked cool the way it was coming together. I added a few more gold spikes on the top lip too, and the ones in the center pointing down kind of reminded me of snake fangs as well, tying in that theme. Then I whipped out these multicolored square rhinestones and used ScraPerfect Embellie Gellie to pick them up and lay the deep pink ones down in a diagonal orientation over the Prosade dots, using the back of the stick to adjust to the stones and arranging them in a pattern that just kind of developed itself, and I kept going until I liked how it looked. The Prosade adhesive is a very liquid consistency, and as I went on, my puddle of it dried a bit, and it was easier to stick the stones and spikes on, and it all went along quicker. Just to let you know, you need the specialized remover that takes off this adhesive from your skin, and you shouldn't pull off the 3D embellishments because it can irritate and damage your skin. I am still working on getting this adhesive to work because the creamy texture of the lipsticks doesn't let the adhesive hold on the heavier spikes for very long. If you use Prosade on clean skin or just over foundation, it works fantastically and stays on all night, as you can check out in my Mad Max tutorial. And when the fun was all over, I had this design. I didn't know I was going to end up here with this lip art, but I'm glad I did. As I said, it made me think of an ancient piece of jewelry that is precious and maybe magical, like that giant ruby that Abu tries to steal in the Cave of Wonders in Aladdin. But I had recently rewatched Conan the Barbarian, so I thought I would use the name of the Eye of the Serpent jewel that Conan gave to Valera. You can find all the details for the products used in this tutorial on my blog, linked in the description box with affiliate links too. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this lip art tutorial, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Also check out my band and podcast on iTunes.